The Finance Act 2023 finally received presidential assent on the 24th of April 2023. In the next few days, we'll be publishing videos to actually explain some of the key tax changes. So today, let's start with the minimum alternate tax. So what is the minimum alternate tax? Minimum alternate tax is actually a tax on turnover. In Sierra Leone, the minimum alternate tax, in line with the Finance Act 2023, is 3% of your turnover. Minimum alternate tax only applies to companies. So if you're an individual or a partnership, the MAT doesn't apply to you. So this is how it works. The first thing you should know is that you should prepare your financial statements as a company. And you calculate your corporate income tax using the normal rules. The normal rule says that you should take your turnover minus your allowable expenses in line with Section 32 of the Income Tax Act. So once you have your profits from your turnover minus your expenses and using other tax adjustments like adding back your depreciations, etc., you calculate 25% corporate income tax. So when you get the answer, if the 3% of your turnover is higher than the normal tax calculated using your financial statements, then the MAT applies. So it means that the tax that you pay will be the higher of the MAT of 3% of your turnover or the tax calculated using the normal rules in your financial statements. Let's talk about your revenue estimate. As you're aware, each and every company in the first month of the tax year should send a revenue estimate to the National Revenue Authority that actually estimates the quarterly installment tax payment that you should pay. So if it's a tax year of 1st of January to 31st of December, your quarterly installment payments will be 15th of March, 15th of June, 15th of September, and 15th of December. Now, the MAT does not impact that. The same rules that apply before relating to estimating your chargeable income for the year still applies. So this is something that is very important for you to be aware. The minimum alternate tax credit, or MAT credit, can be claimed over a 10-year period. The MAT credit arises wherein the MAT paid in a particular year exceeds the CIT calculated using the normal rules. So this is how it works. You can only claim the MAT credit in the year wherein the normal CIT exceeds the MAT, and it can be claimed over a 10-year period. If you don't claim it in 10 years, you actually lose your MAT credit. Comparing MAT credits to losses carried forward. So under Section 32A of the Income Tax Act, you can also claim losses over a 10-year period, similar like MAT credits. So if you have a situation wherein in that particular year, you paid an MAT of 3% of your turnover because that was higher than the CIT calculated using the normal rules, it means that in that particular year, you'll have an MAT credit and you'll also have a loss carried forward. So the MAT credits and the loss that you've accumulated will be carried forward in the future to be claimed over a 10-year period. MAT exemptions. Although the minimum alternate tax applies to all companies, 4 types of companies have MAT exemptions. These are startups in the first 3 years of their existence, companies under liquidation, foreign companies that are resident in countries that have a double taxation agreement with Sierra Leone, and foreign companies that are not required to register in Sierra Leone for tax purposes. In concluding, the minimum alternate tax is also applied in other countries, and it's usually applied where companies consistently show a loss and don't pay any tax to government. So, for example, in Nigeria, they have a minimum alternate tax, which is 0.5% of turnover. But in Nigeria, you minus the frank investment income from the MAT you calculate. In Tanzania, there is also a minimum alternate tax of 0.5%, but it's only applied when companies over a 2-year period show a loss. So in the 3rd year, the government applies 0.5% of the turnover. So these are a little bit different from what we have in Sierra Leone. Watch out for our next video, which will be GST on digital services.